Danganronpa Ultra Depsair Girls is the most disappointing thing since Harambe's death. And that kinda interested me, since nobody in the fandom seems to care about it anymore. I decided to play it, and learned why it's kind of a sad mess. But why though? In 2014, Ultra Depsair Girls was announced as a new spin-off game to the Danganronpa franchise. Many in the early fandom were curious on how it would pan out, since it was going to be a spin-off in a different genre with a new, darker story. When the game released, it was not well received. Critics and players saw the game as a disappointment in three main areas: the gameplay, the story, and just how fucked up the characters are.
I gotta run!
The gameplay can be best described in a few words. It's Half-Life 2, but with shitty controls. And Yuri. Both are shooter games taking place in an open world with dystopian themes. Both are sequel entries in their respective franchises, importance may vary. Both feature puzzle sections requiring the use of specific tools. Heck, even both final bosses happen on top of towers. The differences come with how they play. While Half-Life 2 still holds up 20 years later with solid controls and snappy puzzles, Ultra Depsair Girls feels like you're playing Minecraft on the Xbox with your brother's Cheeto dust infected controller. Ugh. Maybe it's because I was playing on my PC, but aiming and walking around always felt awkward to me, given how the camera likes to slip and slide around. It doesn't hinder the game too much, as you will get distracted by all the other stimulation it provides. The coolest part of Ultra Depsair Girls comes from the fighting mechanics. Throughout the game, as the protagonist, Komaru Naegi, you'll unlock 8 bullets for your megaphone gun that have separate purposes, like one for shooting, one to paralyze, and one to make the Monokumas boogie down. You'll eventually encounter puzzle rooms to use them in, where it'll test your big brain knowledge. Some of them are straightforward, while others are Metal Gear Solid missions that are frickin' impossible. Or you can just use a guide like I did. After you beat those puzzle rooms, you'll go outside and find yourself fighting against Monokumas. That's where Toko, Genocide Jack, comes in. She's your typical hack and slash girly, chopping up the bears with more powerful attacks than Komaru's gun. She basically acts like a panic button and is frankly more fun than Komaru's gun. But she has the downside of being on a time limit. I want the good one back. After you use half of your bullets fighting Monokumas, you'll eventually discover the most annoying part of the game: the cutscenes. No! Half of the game is just freaking cutscenes. Like every other corner, you'll get interrupted by Toko freaking out about how Byakuya wants to rail her with his big billionaire beluga whale.
I'll add beer, anything.
Okay, those cutscenes are fire. The consistency of them is really strange, because you'll have cutscenes that are just the cutouts of Komaru and Toko, 2D animated cutscenes in a Danganronpa style, 3D cutscenes that look like they belong on the Wii, and then scenes from the DR anime, because why the hell not? It honestly felt like that this game was supposed to be an anime first, then a game second. Which, for some people, makes sense, given how lore intense the story is.
I'm gonna kill you!
Okay, super TLDR. Komaru Naegi almost broke free from the wrath of Monokuma thanks to Byakuya and his Fortnite squad. She was conveniently saved by her future girlfriend. A random girl, Toko Fukawa. They travel around Towa City trying to find a way to escape. They meet a white Monokuma who is good. Is that racist? A secret resistance led by Haiji Towa, the edgy lone wolf. and their enemies made up of Monokumas and enslaved children. They have to solve puzzles and games set up by the leader of the Goon Squad, Monaka Towa and her Warriors of Hope, who are like the kids next door but evil because their goal is to destroy adults! When encountered, Komaru and Toko use the power of friendship to destroy the kids' mecha machines. Rinse and repeat. Wait a minute, the only way to defeat the children is to use a super robot Monokuma. But wait, how does Haiji Towa have access to this? They triangulated Monaka's location to be inside Doofenshmirtz's tower, and when they meet face to face, it was time for the final showdown. Monaka's all,
"Yeah, I used daddy's money to build all these Monokumas, and guess what? I can stand up because I don't need a wheelchair, biatch."
mind equals blow. Komaru then has to make a choice with the big red button. If you press it, it will exterminate all of the Monokumas, even the helmets of the children. Haiji's like, oh, come on, you gotta do it. Komaru's like, no, maybe, I don't know, I think so. Then her girly friend, Toko, gives her a third option. We're gonna save the world, like it's that one Fortnite mode. In the end, Komaru and Toko fight Haiji's Super Monokuma robot. Do the whole, we are the Ultimate Despair Girls! We carry the flame! Kaboom! And then they show Nagito in the epilogue because fuck everything. We have to appeal to Tumblr girlies. It was 2015 after all. It might just be me, but this game feels like the most lore-heavy, yet unnecessary in the franchise. I'll be real with you, I don't really pay attention to the story in games, but it's really interesting seeing what the outside world looks like in the Danganronpa universe, considering that the main games take place inside of a school or on an island. Some of the story is painted via a ton of collectible books that you'll find scattered around the map. Many of them will queue up a fucking cutscene! But that's okay. Toko will talk about the story itself, while Komaru makes a quip about how much she loves Toko. It brings up another of the game's strong suits. The writing. Kind of.
I like him younger.
Komaru and Toko's relationship is the best part of the game, hands down. Throughout the game, the two began as mere strangers, but as time went on, the two's chemistry began to attract to each other. Toko as a closed-off realist who is slightly zesty, contrasting Komaru, a scared but open-minded optimist, and a candidate for Luigi's Mansion. I skimmed through a lot of the game's story, but even my tiny little heart became heavy seeing them through tough moments. Moments like their disagreement over Haiji and their duel in Chapter 4 tested their relationship, and ultimately, they became stronger. Jokes aside, Ultra Depsair Girls fleshed out Toko's character so much, since her previous appearance was rather lacking. And Komaru became a fan favorite overnight, seeing her grow from a cowardly idiot to the Naegi that saved the world. On the flip side though, some of the aspects are just corny as hell. I kid you not, the Warriors of Hope made me giggle my socks off because of their backstories. Jotaro is like,
It all started the day I was born. My mother wanted to hide my beautiful face because she regretted my birth, so she beat me up with a shovel, and now I have to wear this leather mask.
All of the Warriors of Hope had traumas that they bonded over, but thanks to the influence of Junko Enoshima, Monaka became the leader of the quintet and had a new mission. They were to rid the world of adults and create a utopia for children. But what about the teenagers? Well, I guess they're fair game? Oh gosh. Oh no. Ay.
That's your punishment!
Near the end of Chapter 3, Tokomaru was kidnapped by one of Monaka's minions, Kotoko Usagi, and was tied to some coffin-looking thing, with the purpose to extort information via a minigame.
You like this? Huh? You like it, don't ya?
This part of Chapter 3 is the most infamous scene in the franchise, not only because of its questionable nature, but also the message it, and the game at large, was trying to tell kinda rotted away with some people. I was joking around with the Warriors of Hope's backstory, but the truth is, one of the game's most interesting parts was how it tackled the idea of childhood trauma. In many forms of media, it goes like, well, when I was a kid, my uncle touched me, and then just leave it at that. While in Ultra Depsair Girls, it doesn't hold back. It showcases on full display how trauma truly F's with your development, as all of her childhood experiences culminated into the minigame that we see here. Another example of divisive design choices comes with Haiji Towa, since his whole arc is directly involved with the trauma of the children and his half-sister, Monaka, causing the death of their father after Haiji kinda helped in abusing Monaka, and her using daddy's money to mass produce the Monokuma balls for people to suck on. That led him down the rabbit hole of becoming a lone wolf. He does join Komaru and Toko in the middle of the story, making corny dad jokes, but then you learn more of his story and realize that he's kind of a crazed lunatic that wants to end kids at any costs. Honestly, valid crash out. And he might have visited the island in his spare time.
I like him younger.
And that's kind of the point with Haiji. He's supposed to be a morally dubious third party in a game with a clear good versus evil, but that nuance is kind of lost given how much of an ass he is. And I think that's a running theme of Ultra Depsair Girls. The potential to tell a good story is there, but the way it was told just kind of fell apart. I get what the game's message was trying to be. Overcoming one's trauma is the only thing more powerful than being the victim of it. And I think it's fantastic. Just, well, you know, that. The gameplay itself, it's fine, it's easy, it's whatever. It honestly felt like an old Wii game you can zone out to while listening to some crusty Angry Birds music. If the writing was a bit more fleshed out in certain areas, and certain parts get treated with a little more respect, I think it would enhance the horror aspect that the game was going for. Should you play Ultra Depsair Girls? I don't know. Just watch the cutscenes for the story and you'll be good. However, you should absolutely play for the Byakuya cutscenes because they are just mwah.
What a surprise. I never expected you to be this good.